what is the benefits of you being in a tier 2 city like Ahmedabad? People would love to understand.
So all those things which appeared to be challenges for us when we started the organization turned out to be benefits actually. Starting from a very small fund, it is a very regular norm for people, not raising seed A, B, series and so on. They start from a small fund and go frugal about it. That helped. Second, talent. People here are hungry for hard work, which is rare to find. They tend to learn the hard way, which gives the maximum benefit to an organization. And they never have the chance to get recognized. That helped us. Being a small startup, all the team leads basically are running their own small companies here. So that created a culture where people had a lot of ownership, and that team building was very helpful for us. So I think those two things really helped us coming from a tier 2 city, which were looking like a bad place to be in back in 2013-14 when we started.
Hello guys, welcome everyone to yet another edition of SaaSBoomi podcast. We're doing this deep dive podcast for more than a year now. I think we have met 15 different founders, and today we have a unique combination. We have Ankit and Suhasini who is joining us. This is the very first time we are doing a dual founder in the show. Pretty excited, and Ankit is also so special to me because I worked with both of them outside the scope of this podcast as friends, customers. Right, so that's nice. Happy to have you both. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Suresh. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, so the way we do this is we tend to, this is the season 2, right? The season 2 is really, we go deep on a particular, the hypothesis is that every startup who's made it reasonably to certain size and scale has some formula that's working for them.
Right.
And like, for example, for some companies, it could be inbound marketing. Some companies, it could be something else, like events, for example. For some, it could be partner strategy is probably working. So, or some company could be completely built on a product-led marketing. So instead of generally talking about a lot of different topics, we wanted to talk deep about one aspect or one or two aspects that actually made the company where it is today. So that's why
Right.
it's called a deep dive podcast, right?
Okay.
So on one or two aspects, and of course we have a much larger generic understanding as well. But the goal is that. So we always start off with basically letting you guys describe your company for the first 2-3 minutes, so that the audience get an idea about who you are, what you do, who's your customer, kind of stuff. That sets the baseline for us and for the audience to go from there.
Okay, sure. So the company we run is called Appit Simple, and we run two products in the same company. One is called Software Suggest, the other one is CallHippo. Software Suggest is a software discovery and recommendation platform. We help organizations find the right software, and CallHippo is a virtual phone system. With CallHippo, we help organizations make more calls.
Make more phone calls. And this call hippo is more like what is this? I forgot this company. What are those two competitors that are there? Like they merged together, right?
Oh, Exotel and Amio, is it?
Yeah. Is it like Exotel
No,
or
so
Exotel, Ozonetel, those kind of companies, right? Is it like that or?
So the target audience is same, but from my understanding, Exotel and Amio are more focused on in the Indian market. We are more global, so we have Indian customers, but most of our customers are actually making calls to US, UK, Canada, Australia. Not so it's not India to India calls. That's how we are different. The technology is also a little different. We are everything on the cloud. They have some portion. Most of their revenue comes from on-premise software.
Okay. So I think it's going to be a little difficult to focus on both the products in this call,
Yeah,
That's
right?
okay.
We're going to focus
That's
primarily on call
okay.
hippo, I'm assuming.
yeah, no problem.
Right? So
That
yeah,
works.
so that will be
That works.
better. So like I was just looking at call hippo website, right?
Right.
Uh, let me pull it up. Of course, by the way, when I search for call hippo in sponsored advertisement, Exotel comes. Just
Okay.
That is a good thing.
yeah. So sorry, like let me go to the home page. Okay. So I'm just trying to understand from the homepage and all of that. Is this like a product led business, or is it like a inside sales business, or is it like you have field sales, or is it like a hybrid? Or how do you describe this business?
So, Suresh, the entire organization has been built around digital marketing and inbound marketing. So,
Right.
our first product, I mean, we're going to talk more about Qualipo, but this is how it comes from. So, software service is a more inside sales, inbound led digital marketing product. And whatever learning we had in learning software service, we just picked that up and applied it to Qualipo. And that is why Qualipo is also more of inside inbound
Inside
marketing
sales
product.
and marketing combination.
In
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, like I know you were doing software suggest, but then what triggered going into Call Hippo? Because is there a domain knowledge? Because it is telephony, right? Telephony is
Right.
typically requires some more hardcore engineering skill set and stuff like that, which is not like
So,
it's
so,
not a
so we are both non-tech founders here. So that was not one of the push points. So tech is something. So we both didn't understand tech. So it didn't come from there.
yeah. That's what I'm trying to understand why. Like it makes sense to go build like a crm product or something like that, where you can at least have some commonsensical way of comprehending the requirements, technical technology stuff, right? But it's call hippo is like deep telephony, right? And this is like systems level programming, telecom interfaces, and they'll talk about protocol and switching, itching, and all these
Right.
all sorts of jargons, right, which we can't understand anything. So why this?
So I'll tell you where it comes from. So, and again, it goes back to software sales. So we started software sales in 2014, and we don't understand anything of technology. We did not have any experience of working in a startup. We did not have money. So all the money which we had was $25,000, 18 lakh rupees. And we said that if we burn this 18 lakh rupees, we are going to go back to the pharma family business. So my family runs a pharmaceutical business. I said, I'll go back to this. And when we started Software Suggest, we said that we want to do something which is not very risky. So, so we said and Software Suggest is more like a content marketing blog kind of a thing. So we said let's do something which does not involve technology, and let's just focus on becoming profitable, so we don't have to go back to the pharma business. And then when we wanted to do something in SaaS, which is another story. I mean, Avinash Raghav, who runs SaaSBoomi, for people who don't know, liked what we were doing in software service, and he forced us to come to SaaS X2. Yes, it was called SaaS X2 then. I saw Girish, and it was in some 150 people, I think, and I think you were also there. And it was in the underground thing, in the basement of a hotel. I don't remember the hotel, but I saw Girish there for the first time. I was like mesmerized by whatever Girish was telling. He was telling that he said that he built the organization from India for a global audience, and I had not heard of this ever. And that was 2015, I think, 14 or 15. And that's when I said we want to do something in SaaS now. Software Suggest was profitable by this time, and but this time we said let's, because we did not take a technology risk last time when we were starting Software Suggest. This time we said let's do something which is very high tech and has a very big market. We started looking for it, and we found that Qualipo is like very high tech and it has a bigger market size than what CRMs have. And so we tried to do something which was very opposite. And that's why we started CallHippo. So, and we did not understand much. We did not understand there is switching and all those things. We just said we'll do something and something should happen. Uh,
So do you have a CTO or a technology team? Because this is a little bit more hardcore technology. Or did you just hire, or do you have somebody in the founding team to tackle that situation? How is that?
Yeah, so we have a CTO. We don't have a tech co-founder, but we of course have a CTO. We have a member in the founding team who has been there with us since the very start, and we have a member in the founding team who had written the first line of CallHippo, and that's how we sustain. I mean, we don't have a tech co-founder, but without a good founding team, it is not possible to create a tech product.
How big is the call keeper team?
We have about 75 people.
And what is the tech versus marketing versus sales?
We have a very small tech team. We have only about 12 members in tech, I think. Most of the team members are either in marketing or sales. We have a bigger sales team. We have about 25 members in sales. About I think 10, 12 in marketing, 10, 12 in support. Team support, which is HR and finance, etc.
Sure. So, like you talked about CallHippo being when compared to Exotel or Ozonetel. Ozonetel also, I think I thought they're also mostly global. I thought, I don't know. It's been a while since I have been talking to them. Um, so, if you look at those companies, you said like you primarily India company made for global, right? Which essentially asked me, like, what is your primary global market? Like, for example, if you take KissFlow, right?
Hmm.
We have 4% or 5% of our revenues come from India.
Okay.
So 95% of our revenues from an ARR standpoint comes from global. I think around 40% from US, around 20%, 25 from Europe, and another 20% from Asia Pacific regions other than India, something like that. If you tally all of that, you'll get 100%. So give us some characteristics of where does the customer segment come from?
So we have similar numbers, Suresh. About 40% of our revenue comes from US, and then US, UK, Canada, Australia, India are our top market. But the interesting part here is that we did never build for India, and we never thought that we will sell to Indian customers. But for some reason, we have about 20% of our revenue also coming from India. And that is primarily because India has a lot of SaaS companies, call centers, which actually do offshoring work from the uh,
Yeah.
from the Indian uh, from India for the global market, and that is why we have a lot of Indian customers.
Okay, got it. So, since you talked about primarily inbound marketing, when you said inbound marketing, see as you said, this business is bigger than CRM. When you have a market that is that big, there will also be huge competition.
Right.
So when you say talking competition and you're using inbound marketing, there is primarily your sources, two sources that has actually worked for us. I think still works for us is just SEO as well as pay Google AdWords, right? These are
Yeah.
the two number one and number two channels. But all
Right.
of them are keyword based, and the kind of keywords that you are looking at will be very highly competitive and highly optimized for SEO and difficult to get to number one position and all of that, right? So how do you tell us about your inbound journey? Because I'm assuming you'll primarily focus on the two things that I think probably made your companies about the inbound marketing and then the inside sales. These two things are the crux of the growth for
Right.
Hippo,
Right.
right? So we'll go deeper in these two dimensions.
So we are mostly marketing led. So when we talk about inbound marketing, inbound sales, so sales is actually helping marketing close deals, but we are primarily marketing led. And with respect to keywords, so when we were doing this, Suresh, we did not understand so much. Uh, we had done software suggest and we were ranking on almost all top keywords in software suggest, and we did not understand so much about keyword. So that was 2017, and we did not understand so much about keyword volume and how how competition is difficult. We did not think that it is going to be very competing. We did not even know the number of competitors we had in 2017. It was only after 6 months, 7 months of doing marketing, and uh, after we got our probably after 100th customer, we started understanding the landscape better. Uh, so, uh, if we did not think so much, that is why we could actually do it.
Okay. uh, so you're saying like the keywords, but that when you try to do SEO, when you try to do paid marketing, you will be anyway hit by these real time problems, right? Because the bid volumes will be high, all the keywords are already taken, competitors are bidding for higher prices, and what within inbound, what source actually worked for you really well, and how did
Okay,
you
so
overcome these practical problems, right?
okay, so the early days we were only doing search engine optimization. We did not do any search engine marketing. So it was only in 2019 or 2020 we actually started. Early 2020 we actually started search engine performance marketing. Everything was search engine optimization, and search engine optimization is not that very expensive. Even today, I think if you can actually go ahead and create a good quality of content, you might be able to rank better than the other platform. So I remember in 2017, 18, there were a lot of, even RingCentral, who is one of our top competitors, are actually copying our SEO strategy. So because we were doing a lot of SEO, so software sales has been a SEO product. Everything runs around SEO. We were doing a lot of SEO. We could actually understand how to rank our pages on top on Google, and that actually helped us. The entire experience of software sales actually helped us to rank on Google in the early days of CallHippo. Then in 2020, we started search engine marketing. Now about 30% of our revenue comes from performance, and I think it's not very difficult. I mean, like most about I mean, we might have about 100 plus competitors, but most of them don't understand how search engine work. They don't have the patience to understand how search engine works. So even for our performance marketing, it took us about 1.5 years to become profitable, and there was a lot of learning curve. Most organizations don't have the patience for that, and if people have the patience for that, I think they will be able to beat us or beat any other competitor.
Yeah. The reason why
So
this, yeah,
if I may add to
yeah,
that, I think being bootstrapped and frugal and having a limited fund helped us crack SEO better, because we did not have funds to go full on in Google paid ads and get the search volumes and get the traffic from there. So we knew we had this amount of fund and we need to do SEO. So that push really helped us to understand SEO better, and to understand that this will take time, to get the patience. So today what we find, so if a founder understands the patience game in SEO, I think that is a win-win, and that is what cracked in software suggest and helped us in the initial days of call hippo.
this sounds like exactly the same story as KissFlow. No, we
Yeah.
we never spent on performance marketing for 2 to 3 years actually. We didn't have money simply. I think the first 2 years definitely we didn't spend. So only did SEO. And one of the reasons you get copied a lot is because in startups, founders work closely with the SEO strategy because it's a primary. That's what used to happen for us also. The bigger companies, there are employees who are working, right? So for them it's a job. So and then they look
Right.
at, it's not like the founder of a bigger company is working on, and the founder of RingCentral is working on the SEO strategy, right? But in the case of CallHippo, you will probably monitor that what's happening. So the kind of
Right.
quality of
Yes.
ideas that can come from a startup is quite high, quite good. And hence the employees on the bigger companies, they may be having a much lower skill sets, right? So they simply copy it, and then it looks like the bigger company is copying from us, but in
Right.
reality, it is
Yes. So we are very marketing driven organization in both the products. So that is why Call Hippo being a very high tech product, we so you asked the question that how many tech what is the size of your tech team? You'll always find, I think, moving down, if we get two more products also, then also the SEO and marketing team will be the biggest team size in our organization. It will always be a play between sales and SEO. That's
Yeah,
it.
in all of my workshops, I say like SEO is the most underrated marketing
Right.
tools that the people use. In fact, even recently I said it somewhere. So anyway, coming back. So since you talk a lot about SEO for the audience, you talk also about patience, Suhasini. You can also give us some color in terms of what is the patience you're talking about, and what kind of investment. So is it like 3 months patience, or 3 years patience, or 1 year patience? What is that scale, so that people know, hey, this is what I need to plan for if I'm a founder.
So I think you also know that it can never be defined. So if a person is coming in your team and he's telling I'll do SEO for 3 months and then you'll see the traffic, wrong person to hire. Don't do that. It is never a time game. It is a time game, but you cannot identify for the product that this product, this type of product will take 6 months of SEO and then you'll see the traction coming. So I think it depends a lot on how aggressive you are to start experiment to keep experimenting new things, and how patient you are to get the results coming. So patience comes only from the perspective of not expecting of using a software, a very good SEO software, and seeing the results from tomorrow. So you'll have to understand how it comes. So I don't think there's a right answer to it, whether it's a 2 months game or 2 year game.
Yeah, let me, since I also come from a solid SEO background, I'll add my 2 cents here just for the audience. Um, Couple of years ago, I used to still be, I mean, even now, is once in a quarter I look at what SEO team is doing. Right. So right now they are running
Right.
on two projects on SEO, which I know what they're doing. So SEO is something very close to my mind, to my heart. Uh, so there was one situation where the team, the paid marketing team, was not willing to let go a page because it was ranking well, but the page looked so not good. And then I was trying to push them, say, oh, no, yeah, you change it, Google will re-index. Don't worry about it. You won't lose anything, right? So, but then there is always this fear. They never did it. At one time, I said, okay, if something drops, you blame it on me. Okay, you are not responsible for it. You blame it on me. You go ahead and change it. If the traffic drops, it's fine. I'll take the blame. Don't worry. Nobody is going to blame you. Do it. To our surprise, it hardly took 3 weeks to regain the same place, or even better place. In fact, the theory that I always tell my SEO team is that don't optimize for Google, but optimize for human beings. See,
Right.
Google is actually optimizing for human beings consistently, right? Because what is their customer? Their customers are humans who are looking for information, and they need to get the correct information. So if you also do the same thing, you write your content keeping humans in mind, what makes sense for the humans, and Google is always trying to do that.
Right.
And this is so much more relevant now. So this line that optimize for humans, not for Google, is actually so much more relevant now. After the last 3 months, whatever has come, whatever has
So
happened, it becomes
I
much
was
more
going to talk
relevant.
about ChatGPT and but we'll talk more. But that is always been my mantra, right? I always tell this your team, just think like, how will a human being find your content? Will it
Yeah.
feel appealing? Will it feel relevant? Like for example, we always used we had some things like some widgets in a page where some conscious interactivity is there, which means the page is interesting, the user is clicking on it and to get some more information, and Google will figure out a way to decipher that, and it knows, like, if this guy is not just searched but then he interacted with the page, he did something, then that page is going to get a lot more ranking. So these are smaller things. We even had one thing called visual blog. We called one type of blog called visual blog. A visual blog is something that is not just text, right? Because it's very hard
Right.
to read. Today we will just mostly glance. So
Yeah.
these things really helped us a lot. I was just looking to know, like, what kind of such stories or other that work for you that our audience can benefit from.
We actually learned it the hard way, Suresh. When we started doing it in 2014, we were actually optimizing for Google, and we could get amazing results optimizing for Google. So we used the same pillar and silo model. We did not understand we were using the pain pillar and silo model, but our content quality was like pathetic. We'll create 20 articles on, let's say, accounting software, and immediately start ranking. We thought we were king, and I went on to say that we are the best SEO team in the entire country also. But then Google came back to us in 2020. We got hit. We took about 1 year. It was 2020 or 21. Yeah, 21 January 2000. I still remember the date, 26 January 2021. We got hit, and last 1 year we have been struggling. But after 1 year, we started understanding what you are now telling. From writing for Google and doing things for Google for the last 8 months, about we are doing things for human, trying to add, trying to see how it is going to make it better for human beings to actually read, and we have seen phenomenal results. So
Yeah.
we are at one of our like peak traffic and peak both in software sales call Hippo, and one of the like last month we did the best revenues because of all the traffic which we got. Now we are trying to understand that you are supposed to only write for humans. Google will decode whatever you have written.
Yeah, because both of us have the same goal,
Yeah,
which is you write good content for our customers, and they also the same goal: find the good content for their customers and give it to them, right? So both
correct,
of our
correct.
goals are same. So
Yeah,
why optimize for Google?
yeah.
So
Ultimately, if you're writing for Google, and Google's objective is, if the content quality is good, people are going to keep coming back on Google, and
yeah,
overall their value for that organization increases.
yeah,
So that is why Google is also optimizing only for humans, and not they're not trying to play around or fool around.
yeah. So the second question, I want to go a little deeper on this, is that what kind of traffic to sign up, because you talked about inbound marketing inside sales model, which is very similar to the model that we had around 4 years ago. Like now we changed it quite a bit now. We're no longer a full-fledged inbound and inside sales model company. Okay, we have field sales. Our inside sales targets for this year is only 15% of our overall revenue
Wow.
targets. So
Okay.
we have gone different model now, 15-20%.
That is good news for us at least.
Yeah,
We are trying to do that, Suresh, now.
yeah. So we'll talk about that separately. We have not yet fully successful yet, but we are very optimistic about the transition. Uh, but then 4 years ago, it was not. It was same, right? 4 years ago,
Hmm.
same as what you're doing. So we measure something like visitor to sign up ratio is one of the metrics
Correct.
that we measure, and then it'll be good if you can walk us through what you're seeing and what other founders should expect. And from visitor, we have a lot of junk signups. I remember that number is 15 to 20%. So if 100
Hmm.
people sign up, 20% are like students, that there's some all sorts of nonsense, some spam email IDs, some competitors trying to use spam email IDs and signing up and all of that stuff, right? So 20% is gone out of the 100, and then there is 80%, and then the 80% we split into. We have like this concept called like uh, like apples, right? If you go in a basket of apples, the sales team is looking for the ripe apple, like a red one. But then if you buy
Right.
a basket of apple, you basically get the red apples and then the green ones and then the semi-red ones, and we get leads in all sorts of forms, right? So we have a ranking algorithm which separates out in a basket of these 80 leads that you got out of 100, what are the red ones, and give it to the inside sales team, and then we track closures around that. Different closures happen because the red ones closure is close to 35 to 40%. The red
Right.
ones, the closure is pretty high actually. So it'll be good if you can walk us through what you are seeing in terms of metrics at a very high level to benefit the founders.
Okay. So we see about 4% traffic to sign up rate. Now you'll have to understand that
That's
we
actually
mostly
pretty
don't.
good. Actually, we saw 3.5 to 4%. We maybe even less.
Right.
Sometimes even it is 2.5. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have like a self sign up, self onboarding thing, and
Okay.
that is why. And
And
we have,
sorry, Kit. Like,
yeah,
how many fields you have in the form?
I think we have 4 5 fields. So we don't take Gmail IDs. It is you have to put
One
only
pager.
yeah, you have to put only company ID, and telephony is susceptible to fraud. So credit card fraud, people will try to call you up and take your credit card, or they will try to take your SSN, and that is why we have phone numbers. We have compulsory phone number. We have compulsory email address, and we also take company name just to. So we have an algorithm which checks for the company once you sign up, and if it finds fraud, then it will not allow you to sign up, or it will block your account as soon as you sign up. That is why we take 3 or 4 fields, and with that we do about 4% of conversion. But our sign up to conversion is very high. We have about 18% sign up to conversion. So 18% people who sign up, come inside and verify their email address, actually pay us. Again, you'll have to remember that we give, so there is no free trial. We give about free trial to only about 50% of the people who sign up. Again, there is an algorithm which checks the quality of company. We'll see if the company is present in Crunchbase, and there are a couple of database which we have connected, and only if they are connected we'll give you free trial, or else we don't give you free trial because of the fraud thing. It helps us correct credit card details, it helps us correct more details, which ensures that we can prevent fraud if that is about to happen. Ticket size is small, so the average ticket size is $50. I think the average ticket size on KissFlow is much higher than that. We don't, unlike a KissFlow or some other organization, we don't need a team to use the product. There can be only one person who is using the product. We don't focus on that. That's not our ICP. But if you have a decent domain, and if your domain rating is good, and the certain if you are able to go through the parameters which you have set, you can sign up, you can start using the product, and you can pay us. We'll not spend time on such single user customers, but they do come, and that is why we have such a high 18% conversion rate.
Okay. 18% is massive, I'll tell you. The reason is, when I was doing this in KissFlow, we used to benchmark, and the best in class companies in this was doing 8%. Sign up
Right.
to conversion ratio is 8%. Best in class. I think we were doing sign up to conversion 4 5%, not even close to 5, I think, less than that. Now we lost touch of those numbers, but 18% is massive. But meaning, this is you should write a separate big blog on this, like, because it's a massive number. Actually, 18% is very very high. But then the question is, uh, like, do you know what is MailChimp's number? Because MailChimp's ticket size is also close to 30, 40, $50 entry level ticket, right? So since ours was not like that, so I don't know, maybe it was different because of that. We need to look at that. 18% is definitely very large.
Right.
But the question to ask is, what is the churn?
Sean is
What is
also very large. so we
Churn is also very large. Yes.
so what
we
I
have
found out was, most of the time, after some time, we started bucketing customers into paid trials rather than actually paying customers. Although they pay us, like in the
right.
SMB segment, they pay us. They pretty much assume only when they pay, we give us like a lot of the features and support and stuff like that. So they end up paying for us. And those
Yeah.
customers
So
that are actually trying, they're really not yet ready to become customers. So one way for we found out was isolating those numbers into paid trials and not putting into customer segment. And then after they cross the, like, 6 months period or whatever it is, when they actually start using it, then we actually put them into customer. Then it makes no sense to measure churn instead of taking everybody as customer and then measuring churn. It's not a fair
right.
measurement.
We use exactly similar process, Suresh, and some of our competitors are actually listed, and they follow the same process. We don't look at churn in the first 90 days. We have those reports with us as to how many are churning this month, but then again, like we wait for 90 days for someone to churn, and only after 90 days we start considering churn. Churn, and we have a separate category or set of customers which we call account management customers, which are large customers. So in account management customers, we have very low churn, which is about 0.5%. I mean, it comes to about 8 to 9% per year. That's about it. But in the normal non-account management customers, which we call as velocity sales, we have high churn there. We have about 3.5% month-on-month churn in these customers.
Yeah, that is normal. Like 30 to 40% churn in the $50 to $500
Right.
size is a quite normal pattern. Close to 50% also it sometimes happens, but partly because of, see, in our, see, sometimes it's a little skewed, right? If you have a monthly recurring model, in a way you are protected. It's like some, like for example, we moved fully to annual, so even if a customer pays, the real churn won't know until a year,
Right.
because they already paid for the whole year, right? So they'll just be keeping it, and but once we moved away from the SMB segment, we are seeing a different pattern. But I just wanted to tell you. Okay, so in terms of the team structure for selling this model, describe, like, say for example, we had like a caller person as well as a seller person, right? So although you, as you said in the beginning, your sales is basically a fulfillment of marketing. It's not like hardcore selling. For
Correct.
us also it was like that, but then we still had different profiles doing the sales, handling the sales process. Tell us about the different profiles that you have, so that others can also benefit from that.
So we have a team which is, and we don't use bots for chat. So we have a team about 10 people who are just doing chats on the website, and they will try to close very small deals. So if it is one user, two users, they just close on chat. There is no follow up. All such customers don't go to our CRM, which is HubSpot as of now. And then there are customers who are more than a little team users, like maybe 5 users, 6 users. So that goes to a different team, and that is a opportunity which goes created in CRM in our HubSpot.
Okay.
And then there is a team which we call as SMB team. And these are customers which will try to close big size deals. So that might be more than 50 users. Uh, in total, I think we have about these teams. So we are the SMB team is small. There are only two people in the team, and then the leader. Chat team is the biggest team, and then there is the middle team which tries to close anything which is actual more than 5 users. That must be about 5 6 people,
Okay.
and
uh,
that's the process we follow. We don't travel. We have started traveling recently and meeting customers recently. There's no events. We have just done one event. This month we are doing second event. Uh,
okay, got it. um, like, you, like for example, when you get an inquiry which is not yet, like people are not hands on trying, when you go to slightly bigger customers, or even to, sometimes people sign up and then they just abandon and do something else, right? So you need someone to call them and then bring them back into a discussion table. Do you have those kind of problems, or do you handle that, or what happens?
So we have that problem. We have a team which is just calling. So these chat guys who are chatting on the website also make calls. So they are supposed to do the entire. So they are like pre SDRs for us, inbound SDRs. So they work like inbound SDRs for us, and they will do the qualification as well. If they find that the lead has some value, or they are that red apples which you are talking about, they will pass it on to the sales guys.
Oh, okay. So you do have this calling people, and what will be
Yeah.
the target for? No, I know your starting size is $50, but what is your typical deal size? Like, is it like a $500 a month, or a $200 a month? What is your typical deal size, like average?
No, our starting is not $50, Suresh. Our starting is $8, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And our average is $50. We have about 4,000 plus customers, but out of that, about 3,700 are actually small customers. So when we started, we were not doing, when we started, we just thought that we will sell at $10 and we'll become rich. And then we started learning about churn. And then we realized we cannot keep doing this. We'll not become rich if we keep selling at $10. We increased our price and put a team in place which started selling to bigger enterprises. So, but the average still, even if we close, like we have customers who are paying us about 500K per year, but even if we close like two, three customers who are paying us 500 per year, because about 3,700 people are customers are actually like $10. The number does not move much. It will stay around $50 or maybe go to $60.
$60. And hence my question is, since you have sales teams, like what is their like annual targets like?
So each sales guy does about 4,500. So if someone is doing $4,000 in a quarter, which is after churn, so if someone churns in the first 90 days, that is not counted.
$4,500.
Yeah, in a quarter, then that's supposed to be excellent. They get their incentives,
It's like $5,000 roughly.
approximately $5,000. That's in a quarter.
This is MRR or
MRR.
That's MRR.
so which is roughly from an ARR perspective, 5,000 times 12 is 60K. 60K times 4 is 240K. So it's like a $250,000 target a year.
5,000. No, it will be 5,000 is a quarter, right? So
5,000 times quarterly.
5,000, $20,000 in a year. If it 5,000 in a quarter, it will be $20,000 MRR in a year.
Yeah, that is 12 times is 240K. It's $250,000, right? ARR.
Okay.
240K ARR. No, right?
Yeah, I'm losing the calculation there.
No,
No,
it's
so it's 5,000 for a quarter.
MRR.
Uh-huh.
20,000 per year. MRR.
Uh,
Still. 20,000 is MRR
Right.
per year, right?
Yeah, 20. Yeah.
correct,
Now I
correct,
get it.
correct,
Now I
correct,
get it.
ARR is 12
correct,
times
correct,
MRR is ARR. So it
Correct,
is
correct, correct,
240K.
correct. Now,
correct,
now I get it.
correct.
No, it's okay. I've been doing this math for 12 years now, so this is natural. Cool. But that's a decent target. That's a sizable goal.
Right.
And what is the team like? Is this like a hardcore? Where do you find this team? Is it like a hardcore sales guys, or is it like a trained internally? Like for example, for an inside sales team, we have a unique problem. Our problem is
Yeah.
we can't just get pure sales guys because KissFlow is a little bit of a tech platform.
Uh-huh.
So you need some technical skills also. But we cannot afford pre-sales and sales in our SMB inside sales team because that becomes too expensive. There's no ROI. So
Right.
we train. We have a training program which we keep training every year, like 10, 20 people. So who knows technology platform as well as some selling, and then we help them sell like a $5,000 deal sizes, right? So I'm just trying to understand in your case what is the hiring strategy to staff your team and all of that.
So you want to go, Swasni?
So I think again coming from a tier two city, I think that helped initially. It went to our advantage
You should
because
also tell about which city
we
that you guys operate in and all of that.
You're from
okay. So we operate from Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad. Yeah.
Ahmedabad. Yes, we operate from the land of Gujaratis. Who knows how to do business? That is it. So it was like that only. Coming from a tier two city, we were not able to hire talent from Bangalore, Delhi, or cities like that. Uh, the
But how about Mumbai should
ma-
have been easy, right? Nearer to Ahmedabad.
Well,
I didn't.
yeah, I'll tell you what kind of people we are hiring, Suresh. So we are hiring mostly from call centers, where our office is. There are a lot of call centers near our office.
Yes.
Now, and most of these call centers have about 2,000, 3,000 people. The guys in the call center can speak very good English. They are used to hard working, and they still don't have a lot of recognition. And now, when they come to
Yes.
us, they can get that English experience in the organization, and then we train them to do sales, and that has worked pretty decent for us. And once we have foot in one call center,
Okay.
uh, they will actually so the our team member will actually attract or get all of their friends, like some friends from the call center, and that helps build the team for us. So
Okay.
not experienced sales guy. Most of our team members are not experienced sales guy, except the CXOs or the VP level people we hire. Most
Who
of them are
who
trained
does the
to
sales
do so.
enablement, or do you still do the sales enablement? Because when they are not experienced, right, somebody has to do the sales enablement, training and looking at their call.
So we also have a in-house training program built, which is done quarterly. And so yes, so the whenever a new member joins the sales team, for example, uh, uh, there's a 1 month rigorous training. In that 1 month, nobody is supposed to ask him what he's doing. Nobody is supposed to understand what he will contribute. So that 1 month is purely for him to settle in the organization and learn the product. That is it. So that and we have this culture of even for higher levels, we have this culture that all the team members are supposed to set their OKRs themselves. Now, when they are setting their OKRs themselves, that is one point where you understand how trained and educated he is with respect to the product.
And
So they themselves, yeah.
we might have the executive levels coming from call centers, but we do have a VP of sales who has a lot of experience. He had been running he
Yes.
had been part of a SaaS company earlier, and so the top level will do the goal setting and sales enablement, but the entry level, the sales guys, the actual sales guys who are on the field and talking to customers are actually mostly from call centers. We hired a lot of people from edtech companies as well. Again, good English guys and willing to do a lot of hard work. So recently, when edtech started going down, we hired a lot of people from there.
And since you come from Ahmedabad, which is not like one of Bangalore, Delhi, Chennai, or something like that, right? So, what are the pros and cons of starting in a in a city like Ahmedabad? Like, meaning personally, I want SaaS to be like a democratized and federated, and not be concentrated in Chennai or Bangalore, for that matter, right? So, like I would ideally, even in Tamil Nadu, I would love to see this in Madurai, Trichy, and Coimbatore, and those kind of places, rather than be concentrated in Chennai. But in India, I see Ahmedabad is coming up well. Indore is doing well. There is Nagpur. There is something in
There is Surat.
Surat.
Surat is
Yeah, Surat
developing
is
really
also
good.
doing well. I
Yeah.
think in the recent SaaSBoomi, there's a group of people came from Surat. So, love to understand what is the benefits of you being in a tier two city like Ahmedabad, and what are the challenges also. Of course, both people would love to understand.
So I'll take the benefits
Mm.
first. Uh, all those things which appeared to be challenges for us when we started the organization were turned out to be benefits
Mm.
actually. I think uh, starting from a very small fund, people do it here. It is a very regular norm for people here that not raising a seed A, B series and so on. They start from a small fund and go frugal about it. I think that helped. Second, talent. So as Ankit rightly mentioned, people here are hungry for hard work, which is rare to find. They tend to learn the hard way, which gives the maximum benefit to an organization. And they never have the chance to get recognized. That helped for us being a small startup. There was so we so what we do is all the team leads, they run their independent shows here. So they are having basically they run their own small companies here. So that created a culture where people had a lot of ownership, and that team building was very, very helpful for us. So I think those two things really helped us coming from a tier two city, which were looking like a bad place to be in back in 2013 or 14 when we started. So those two things really helped.
Sure.
I don't think, Suresh, we would have come here had we had been in Bangalore. We would have got lost somewhere had we been in Bangalore or probably Chennai. I don't know about Chennai, but I'm sure we would have been lost in Bangalore. And the disadvantage is, of course, the founder support and the network which is there in Chennai and which is there in Bangalore. So at times we miss it, but I don't think now I have access to people, and probably because of SaaSBoomi, now I have access to people. I have friends like Dhruvil and Pallav who I can go to whenever, and then there is SaaS SGX growth which is there, and a lot of things which is happening because of SaaSBoomi that even smaller cities founders can actually learn, talk to people. But then when we started in 2014 and even in 2020, that support group was not there, and that is what is the
Founders
disadvantage
have it today.
Yeah.
disadvantage of working from Ahmedabad.
Yeah, I think you hit it so nice. The only disadvantage is the access to that network. Now it is getting
Yeah.
solved with SaaSBoomi coming up with
Yes.
this chapter model. But that
Right.
is the biggest one. The talent and other things, people think it's a problem, but it is not real problem. In fact, it is a blessing in disguise. You are sort of protected from all the poaching and all the
Correct.
headhunting and
Absolutely.
people who are used to living in Ahmedabad. Again, they'll have to uproot their family. They have to find the kids,
Yes.
education, and all that is a nonsense, right? If you relocate and culturally also, see the kids that grew up in different environments, they also learn different cultural habits and everything, right?
So that is a big advantage actually. So in Ahmedabad, family life is so beautiful here that it is not difficult to convince a person that he or she will relocate here and will establish here permanently, because the kind of culture you see here, it will not be seen maybe so people are so fast paced in Mumbai, in Delhi, that they don't have that kind of time or patience to give back. So another advantage, yes, the traveling is so easy here that you work, even if you work like 16 hours, you still have those good quality 8 hours for your family full
Yeah,
time.
otherwise you're losing
So
4 hours in travel in Bangalore.
Uh,
yeah, so that is there. Either you take your family in the travel in the metro, you take your family along to spend some time there. Maybe that.
So
So
also
yes, that is
also
also
tell
there.
us how you two become the co-founders.
so,
That will be
Suresh, we are husband and wife and married, and that's how we
yeah, yeah.
became
Uh,
co-founders.
I know that, but typically, as I have rarely seen, there are very
it is difficult.
yeah.
It is difficult, but
I know
the
Ashwini and
advantages are
Anand are
huge.
doing it for Man Street Run, and Anand rarely is seen anywhere. I hope when Ashwini sees this video, she's not going to scream at me. But yeah, so
So I told you now I don't do this more often. This is more of Ankit's thing.
but
That is
right from the beginning, you were together in the venture, or is it like you joined the venture in the middle, or how is it?
So we got
so
yeah.
yes, Ankit. Yes,
So we
Ankit.
got married,
Please.
Suresh. We got married in 2012, and we started the company in 2014. For the first couple of years, Suhasini is a qualified CACS, so she takes care of all the money in the company. And if someone's salary is not processed, it's because of Suhasini, and I'm not responsible for it. But yeah, for the first couple of years, she was less active. We were having our first child, and once our first child was about 3 years, she started becoming active. She became active, and then we also had two products. Then in 2017, Software Sales and CallHippo, and then she became more active.
But
So when
how did
CallHippo was born, I think pretty much it came under my office. It just came under my umbrella. So he could give more time to CallHippo, and that is how then things were decided. And at the end of the day, it's okay. Everybody knows who's got the veto. So that was okay.
but like you'll be doing stuff together at work and then go back to home again, the same work stuff comes up. Is it
So we tried that. I know where you're going. We tried that, that after we are back home and let's switch off that plug. But being an entrepreneur, I think that plug never switches off. And I think both of us being co-founders, that gives an advantage because both of us knows that you cannot switch it off. So that never comes in discussion because now there's a mutual understanding and agreement that do not think of going off and on with respect to work and home. That never happens. And one more advantage is there is a lot of trust because he doesn't have an option. He has to have that trust. And because of that trust, a lot of things go on smoothly, which when I talk to other founders, I understand that. So there are times when I'll be making some call which he's not able to understand, but because he knows me in and out, he knows he needs to give me that space to take that call. There is no other option. And the rift is never there. So I think that helps being a spouse and a co-founder.
That's great. But this naturally leads us into our next question. I think we have like another 3-4 minutes to go. um, culture for the company, right? You talked about individually how you guys are managing, but also one of the top priorities in KissFlow is that, for example, in our hiring, we have a specific round of interview called culture fit. So, so for senior people, we do the culture fit first. So, like I do the if I'm hiring anybody from director and above, I do like a profiling. Is it like a broad fit? And then I give it to my culture round, and then the technical round itself starts. We don't waste time on technical round before the culture round. But for junior people, it's the last round, because there it's a different, because the senior people can play a lot of role in shaping the career, right? They're pretty much in charge of 20, 30 people, then they can pretty much change the character of the company. So similarly, I'm asking, what is your culture strategy, or how do you take it and how do you handle it? It will be nice to understand that.
You want to go, Swasni?
Yeah.
So I can keep talking about it. So uh, it is little similar for juniors. The culture round, we do have a separate culture round for every hiring we do. Uh, it is an HR slash culture round, and for juniors, it is always the last step,
Mhm.
because I think it makes it more effective, because they are the ones who are to be adapted into that culture, and not maybe defining the culture. They are not responsible for changing the culture of the org. And for seniors, the culture round is somewhere where we find that. So maybe a small basic round is there to understand whether he or she has the right knowledge or not, and then the culture round happens, which me and Ankit we jointly take, because it is very important for that top level to be to understand that from where are we coming, and what kind of expectation we have for him or her to manage the team. So we are very we aim at increasing the wealth of the team members. That is our aim, right? From the past 2 years, it has we have changed the organization in making the team leaders understand that you need to increase the wealth of your team. That is how it is to be done. If they aim on increasing the wealth of the team members, I think the culture automatically revolves around this. Ankit, you want to add something?
And I think Suresh,
I would actually, instead of more than explanation, I would like to know some anecdotal stories of uh, like how you prioritized culture. See, a lot of people talk about culture, but then when it comes to, like, I'll give you an example. So we had a team in a particular region, um, which was doing reasonably well in sales. It's performing well, but we decided to let them go because we basically felt they are messing around our culture, and they are becoming more like a very aggressive culture, like win at any cost kind of a culture, without and spoiling any everybody's morale. As long as they get their thing done and they win anything and squeeze everybody else, scream at people, all these things, as long as they win it, it's fine, right? And they call it as high performance culture. Like they told me like this is what they're used to in their previous companies, but that didn't fit for us. So we said these are all expensive resources, and we said no, boss, it's not working. And we said fine. So I want
So Suresh,
examples like this from a
Suresh,
culture angle.
a person who has worked with us for a starting of maybe 7 to 10 days, he or she will immediately understand that shouting or giving ultimatums or just thrashing the target, this doesn't work here. It is not what we do. And that, so that how does he or she understand this? The first 7 or 10 days, they are supposed to talk to any and every team member they randomly pick from the company, and when they talk, they understand this is a no goer from the start. So even if you are doing 3x of your targets, if you are trying to do that my team is supposed to wake up in the morning, get a call from me, hear some bad foul language, and still they don't do. That doesn't work here. So it is when you were telling me this, it is very alien to me. It is still very alien to me because it doesn't gel up here at all.
No, no,
So maybe meeting
it is
us.
true, but I'm not. All I'm saying is sometimes we cannot be perfect in all our hiring decisions.
Uh,
Correct.
yeah, of course. Then you remove. You don't have a. I
That
mean,
is so true.
we a lot of time we fail in the hiring decision. We remove the person. It's not possible to judge someone in a
Yeah.
three
That's the
four
question
hour.
I'm asking. Have you see? It's easy. See, as founders or as even management team, it's easy to fire someone for performance, right? And the most easiest thing to fire is no culture, no performance is easy to fire, right? It's very easy to
Yeah.
fire. Second easy to fire is no performance, also easy to fire. The most difficult thing to fire is good performance or even acceptable performance, but culture is bad.
Well, it's about short term versus long term, right? Suresh, if you don't have the culture, if you don't have the right culture, the team as such, the team as a whole will not perform. So if the sales team starts coming and blaming the marketing team, and not all team are going to perform at all particular point in time. If the marketing team, if there is some issue with our marketing team, the sales has to step up and ensure that we still get the same amount of revenue. If there is some problem with sales, then marketing has to step up, and that keeps on going. If you have people who are blaming each other, if they are not supporting, then it might be some short term revenue, but in the longer run people will not perform. If even if there's a small team where the team leader is not culturally fit and they are uh, probably sending random mails scaring people that they will be fired, uh, calling up at 6 a.m. in the morning and starting with all the foul languages. Eventually, the junior guys are not going to perform, and it might be a short-term revenue for you, but in the longer run, that's going to disappear. So I think it's better to fire. We have done it a couple of times, so we. I don't want to tell anecdotes because I don't.
I don't have to tell names, but I understand. As long as I think, see, that is where people say, right? Put the foot where the mouth, put the mouth where the sorry, foot where the mouth is. So that as long as you're doing that, that is nice to hear. Because otherwise, people talk a lot about culture, when finally when it is when rubber hits the road, it's not actionable, right? It's not actioned. Last question. I think we are already like 4 5 minutes over the time. What's meaning? It's a fantastic journey. Pure inbound inside sales, built from India, gone global. 40% revenues coming from US. Very small team because size of the team to revenue ratio is pretty good. Per employee contribution is good. Built from tier 2 city. Two co-founders, husband and wife combo. Amazing story, guys, and fantastic to listen to you guys. Where are you headed from here? What's your next 3 to 5 years vision for Call Hippo?
So financially, Suresh, we want to become IPO ready by 2029, but that's not our main North Star. Our main North Star has always been towards team happiness and wealth for the team. So I don't know. So we give about, and we have been running this organization from a more of a stakeholder point of view, not a shareholder point of view. So we give about 0.5% of our revenue to charity, and we are not in the government charity thing, and we have been doing that since 2015. So the entire North Star of the organization has always been to ensure that all of our team members move to society level up. So I think everyone is in one society level, and if you can actually move them to society level up, we have done our job. So that's the entire, and I don't think we are there yet, but next 3 5 years,
But that's the motive. That's the
and
motive.
we are
Yeah,
going,
pretty
we're
much.
going to always work for towards that. That's the entire North Star of this organization.
Okay, man.
So recently, I think our tech lead took a new home and a new car, and that really pumped us that yes, so maybe we are doing something in the right direction. So that thing that
This
that
this
claps.
I,
resonates.
I, I,
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before we, and I'll tell you, I did not cry when we had a nice expensive car. I actually cried when my first team member got his first car. So that made me more happy.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I can totally resonate with this, and I think 2029 IPO, that's a massive audacious goal. I wish both of you the very best, and the entire Call Hippo team towards this great milestone. Thanks, guys. I enjoy talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Suresh.
Thank you so much, Suresh. Thank you for having us.
Bye bye.
Hi, folks. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Feel free to share your thoughts and feedback to hello@saasboomi.com. You can access this and all other episodes of SaaSBoomi's podcast at www.saasboomi.com. SaaSBoomi is spelled as SaaSBoomi.com. SaaSBoomi.com. There is no H there. Until next time, this is Suresh signing off from you. Bye-bye.